Last 24 hours. And as our system's pulling away, our low pressure is pulling away, we're still getting some of that lake effect snow to come down. But there's your 14 inches, not only in New Hampshire, but also in Vermont. You saw 8 inches in Maine, 7 in Pennsylvania, but we need a lot more to make up. We have so many deficits here into the Northeast. So here's what's happening. We've got our low pressure pulling away, but it's not just the low. There's actually a high to the south causing a pressure gradient. And so the winds in between this low and our high that's off to the south here are causing gusty winds. So look at Albany gusting at 39. There's your lake effect snow that's coming in off of Ontario. Even winds gusting 20, 30, Philly gusting at 36. This certainly could cause some delays here. And it stays through the afternoon pretty gusty. So it's not until tonight when things really start winding down for us. And that's when we'll see improving conditions. So it's going to be a blustery day here, obviously giving us a little wind chill too with that and the potential for some more power outages. We've got them here into Virginia, over 14,000, Pennsylvania, New York, essentially almost 30,000 customers without power in the Northeast, thanks to the wind, the rain, the snow, and we still have those wind advisories posted. A lot of these last until 8 o'clock tonight, and so that just tells you that this is going to be an all-day event, and this is the gusty weather that lasts. Look at this. By noon, we're still 30, 40, 50-mile-an-hour gusts, and I bet you we see some even higher than that as we head into dinner time. It's still cranking there. We're starting to taper, though, from west to east, so we will see improving conditions in that sense. But even into 8 p.m., 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds into New England, and then as we head into our Tuesday, everything really slows down and calms down for us. Temperatures right now into the 30s across the board, but factor in that wind cranking. It's going to feel a lot colder than that. Our wind chills take us down into the 20s, even low 20s into Syracuse. Feeling like it's 30 in New York and Philly, so we're just there. And these wind chills are going to be lingering through the day because those winds, as we were showing you, just don't let up. So though our temperatures might get warmer than it says here, this is what it's going to feel like, which, Molly, is really all that matters, is what it feels like to you. Who cares what it says on the thermometer?
No, that's the way you have to dress.
You do get that onshore push, and so sometimes a lot of this is salt water that you're dealing with, which of course is not great for a car at all that salt water and the corrosion. So what's going to happen is we have a system coming in the west, and we get kind of energy fed into this little trough. Not little trough, it's quite a large trough, and then this is all going to be swinging eastbound. As it does so, ahead of it, not only do you get the moisture pulled up, but that warm air that Molly was talking about, that's going to surge north as well. Let's look at the rainfall in the south, because though in the Midwest we have dry conditions, here, look at every arrow. It is pointing up. It is above average here, and you can see that we're 7, 8, 9 inches above average in some places. New Orleans, 6.5 inches above average, and the same as we head down into Florida. We do have Apalachicola that is half a foot above average. So our model, our European model, let's see if it'll click in. Oh, we'll back it up real quick to show you, because it's a Monday after all. Even the computers are slow to get going. Oh, now I've really done it, haven't I? Oh, this is lovely. Okay, we'll start over from scratch then. There it is. There's your European models. And you can see there will be bouts of heavier rain from Texas to Louisiana, moving into Mississippi. And the GFS also has some heavier rain, but focuses it a little bit farther north for us. And therefore, the possibility of flooding is around Arkansas, Texarkana. Those areas could see some of the heavier rain. And the possibility of thunderstorms is there. It doesn't look like a setup for a big severe weather outbreak at the moment, but you could have 1 or 2 severe thunderstorms coming in. This is all really going to develop as we head into our Thursday, crossing over the Mississippi River and spreading east, which does mean more rain for places like Chucktown here, and then more scattered showers, and yet another weekend of rain for a lot of people in the South Jordan. And the rivers, they're high right now. It doesn't look like this is going to make things that much worse, but it's certainly not going to help.
We need more rain in some of these
morning edition of America's Morning Headquarters. Snow piling up across Colorado. It's starting out colder for big cities along the I-95 corridor, but don't fret. Days of sunshine and warmer temps are in the works. Highs only in the mid-50s for D.C. this afternoon, and that's right where we should be for this time of year, but milder winter and today's gusty winds will give those 50s some bite. But by Thursday, let me tell you, the nation's capital soars back into the mid-70s, about 10 degrees above average. The cherry blossoms have reached the halfway point. They are expected to reach peak bloom between March 23rd and 26th. which I think is a little on the early side. Sometimes they can go as late as April. Hello and welcome back into America's Morning Headquarters on this Monday, the 11th day of March, a week away from spring, but winter's still holding on in the Northeast, Molly.
It certainly is. And
we don't have that forecast, Jordan. Let's take you out the door in the southeast. And there was clouds as well. Thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm standing at the iconic, I should say, World War I Memorial in downtown. We are in Kansas here for a warm, sunny day today with afternoon temperatures rising into the 70s. But storms are brewing, and they'll be coming midweek with heavy rain and gusty winds with a system that basically swings from the west. Kansas City, I should say. I forgot to add the city part to that. We're in Kansas City here. Now, there's a look at our storms. Notice, by the way, how warm we are on Wednesday into the 70s. We're going to be above average in Kansas City, about 20 degrees. And it's going to be extraordinarily warm ahead of our next system that comes in Wednesday night. Thursday, we get knocked down just a touch into the low 70s for us here. But it is still quite mild across the country. And here is the system. Counterclockwise flow bringing up the rain ahead of it and the moisture. Still some cooler air on the backside giving us snow if anyone is still spring breaking. I know that right now is the time that people are heading to spring break. I think Florida, has some spring breaking happening right now. So people get out of Florida, go to the snow, get a little change up there. And there are your temperatures, very warm air in place. We have the 80s even in some spots. By the way, spring is right around the corner. It starts next week. With all that said, there is the potential for thunderstorms to fire up from Kansas City down into Tulsa. Wednesday, it shifts east. Now, notice it's not a deep red, so we're not expecting this huge severe weather outbreak, but you could have a strong thunderstorm here or there fire up, which, of course, could cause damage or maybe take out power, but mainly more just give you the thunder, the lightning, and the heavy rain type of a thing. It all really comes in as we head into our Thursday. That's when things start to take shape, especially as we head later in the day. There are your heavy rain in the clouds, and then it all is going to continue east, as most storms do, travel from west to east, and we start to clear out. We could really use the rain in the Midwest, but it looks like we're not going to get loads. We'll get a little bit, which is actually kind of good, but we need just a little bit several days after each other because it's still quite dry here in the Midwest, and so just a little bit of rain will be able to absorb into the ground, which is phenomenal, though. I know it's probably still actually quite frozen up here, but it's been a mild winter in Chicago. We have a lot of rain. We haven't seen a lot of snow. And yes, we've had colder days. But, Jordan, it really hasn't been that terrible in the Chicagoland area.
No, I mean, really.
They're going to be blowing all day long in the Northeast. Look at that snow for us, and especially off of the lakes. It was in the interior. And portions of New Hampshire and Vermont getting double digits, and which is where we're still seeing it, some lake effect coming in. Not only did we get that half a foot in places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, but we saw double digits in Vermont and New Hampshire. Big time snow for us here. And it's still coming down. Now, it's all pretty light for the most part, though you do have some stronger, heavier snow into places like New York. But notice the winds, these white lines of constant pressure. The closer they are together, the breezier it is. And we have got that not only because of our low, which is pulling away, but there's high pressure to the south. And that creates what you call a pressure gradient. Think of when you put your thumb over a hose and the water really squirts a lot faster. That's what's happening. We're getting a pressure gradient between these two, and the wind is really blowing fast between them. So you're talking 30, 40 mile an hour winds for us in the Northeast, already causing issues at LaGuardia. And we are going to see it last through the day. The snow as well, it slowly tapers. But notice it's still coming down into portions of New England. And as we get into this evening, it starts to look a little bit better. By tomorrow, we are a lot calmer here. But look at our numbers going up. Last hour, we were at 31,000 customers. I know it jumped up into the 40s. Molly was showing that a little bit earlier. So we've gotten down a little bit, but this is not great because the winds are going to be consistent all day long. In fact, we have advisories lasting into the evening hours, and we can show you that it just doesn't stop. Not only as we go to our lunchtime hour, if you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to get a little sunshine, I want to get out. It's going to be cold to do lunch outside, and it's going to be really breezy, so everything's going to be flying all over the place. Even as we head into bath time and dinner time, it's still pretty gusty, holding on, especially into the I-95 corridor and into New England as we go through the evening hours. But tomorrow gets a lot better for us. Temperatures right now are into mainly the 30s and 40s, but you factor in that wind, and it feels like the teens or 20s for a lot of places. So though we are going to see our temperatures moderate through the day, with that wind chill, for the most part, it's going to feel like it's in the 30s and 40s for some of us here. But as the sun sets, it gets a lot colder as we go here throughout the day. And Molly, you can see Binghamton to New York, at least the sun is going to be out, which will be a huge deal. The same in Concord, though we do get some clouds, which always makes it that much worse.
Oh, it really does. But
we are going to see the rain as we go through the week. And it's really all compliments of this big trough that's going to come in, bring snow to the plains, rain, snow to the Rockies, rain to the plains, and then the Midwest and the South eventually get in on this too. This is really going to be our big troublemaker, our big weather maker as we go through the week. Southerly flow brings up that moisture here, and that bangs into some warmer temperatures, and that means that you have the threat for some storms and rain, which we do not need. We're anywhere from 3, even 6 inches, 9 inches in Montgomery above average on rainfall. It's too bad that we can't share. Sharing is caring, right? Sharing is nice. We can't share some with the Midwest where we really need the rain. The Euro does put out Thursday through Saturday, when this thing really gets going, heavier showers here from Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, into Texas as well. The GFS wants to put it a little bit farther north, but the point of the story is it's still heavy rain for us here, no matter exactly where it ends up. But where it does end up, we do have that potential for flooding. And right now, it looks like around Arkansas will have the best chance to see some of that flooding. Don't forget, the eclipse will be cutting through Arkansas. We will have a crew there for you. Storms Thursday. And things really get going for our Thursday. Notice this is Wednesday evening. We don't see a lot of action for us here in this part of the country, but as we go through Thursday, that's when things really start to climb and, get worse as we go through our Friday. And you'll still see a lingering boundary here giving us rain and showers into our Saturday and more energy coming through. Now, a lot of this might not necessarily be rain, but you still have got the clouds, which isn't great. And Jordan, we have several rivers that are in minor to moderate flood stage, and then we're going to be adding more water to the situation. I'm not saying these are going to go out of control, but, it's not going to help them at all.
Yeah, no, they stay running swollen, that's for sure.
Sometimes the ones at night are deadlier, or a tree falls on a house and people are sleeping, so that is good, though there's a lot of recovery there ahead. Speaking of ahead, on this Monday edition of America's Morning Headquarters, still out there too, heading to ski, which will be great. Let's take a look ahead at your T-Mobile coast-to-coast forecast and give you a peek at temperatures in your area as you plan your travel for the week ahead, whether it's spring break or just your own vacation. It has nothing to do with spring breaking. Today, we have our system exiting the northeast, and we have quite a large one coming in. This is the one that will then cross the country and cause messy weather as we head through the entire week. Notice as we head into our Wednesday, there's that snow into Colorado, as we were just talking about. And then Thursday, still lingering, really getting its act together here, bringing us some storms. By Friday, everything kind of pushes east, and we have the four corners dealing with weather, but we finally get a break in the northwest. It's been pretty active for us, but it's the south yet again for our Saturday, and sticks around for our Sunday. Though the western half of the country, we're looking great. And in spring severe all of winter. And a lot of times we've seen a lot of bad thunderstorms. Last year alone, thunderstorms caused more than $50 billion in damage.
Yeah, joining us to talk about the best ways to get our homes and businesses ready for the severe season is Dr. Ian Giamanco, lead research meteorologist at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. Thank you so much for being with us. And I guess let's start off with talking about how most billion-dollar storms strike between the months of March and June. So what are the most important things an owner can do to actually protect our home and our business as we lead up to that?
Yeah, good morning, Jordan. Yeah, the two big
garage door goes. We hear about it all the time. Then you're in big trouble there. I've never heard about a thunderstorm ready home or a thunderstorm ready business guide. Is this something new that you guys are doing?
So IBHS has put out.
So just like anything else, money talks. You talked about the fortified roof, the garage door that can withstand 130-mile-an-hour winds. How do we look at that in terms of a cost factor?
Yeah, when we go to a
for insurance to have that, will your insurance come down if you do have some of these, extra bells and whistles on your home?
So, Steph, that's right.
I also love, I want to point out the hail that's dissected behind him.
Oh, his. Yeah, Dr. Ian Giamanco, lead research meteorologist at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. Thank you so much for your time.
They're the best of the best.
Can you imagine like being with your neighbors, like, oh yeah, that's my my fortified roof there, good for 30 years, and we're good to go for any stuff. That's such a cool thing to like put on your list.
It is. All right, let's go dog walking with Molly now. All right. Well, thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm standing in Kansas City near Union Station. We are in for a warm, sunny day today with afternoon temperatures in the 70s. Talking 15, 20 degrees above average, but storms are going to be brewing, and you're going to see the clouds thicken up and darken up, and then the rain is going to be falling, and we could see some gusty winds within these thunderstorms too. But it's not just Kansas City. We just wanted to show you what it was going to look like there. We're going to see it in several other locations as well. We get into Kansas City Wednesday night, and then Thursday we're going to start to clear out as everything is going to be tracking east. And notice the warmth all the way into our Wednesday, nearly 80 degrees in Kansas City, and this is the whole system. That is our warm front. That's the leading edge of warm air. So anywhere south of that, you're going to have those warmer temperatures. Notice we have a southerly flow as well coming up counterclockwise with our low. So that means you get a southerly flow here, bringing up the warmth and the rain, and then our warm front kind of leans forward, if you will, bringing rain into places like Iowa and northbound as well. Notice the moisture, southerly flow, bringing up that nice moist air, and you can really kind of see the two boundaries. You know, if you just kind of, whoop, there's your cold front, and then your warm front is popping off this way here. Kind of textbook looking example with our temperature contours. Tomorrow, Kansas City down to Tulsa, you have the chance for thunderstorms. And this lasts as we head into our Wednesday, even as we go into our Thursday. We still have that chance for bad weather. Now, there's a little piece of energy coming through as we head over the next day or so. Then we have our bigger trough coming in, and that's when everything really ramps up for us. And notice it takes through the day on Wednesday as we head into our Thursday for everything to really get its act together into the Midwest, the plains, and into the South, too. And then it's all going to continue to head eastbound, clearing out for our Friday, which will be nice here. Otherwise, we do have light rain in its wake. And remember, things are still cold up here. I know it's been above average, but that ground is still pretty cold. So getting a little light rain, maybe we'll be able to soak some of that in. And we need it because it's been so dry, especially into Iowa. We are seeing extreme drought, but a lot of other areas in the Midwest, especially the upper Midwest, are quite dry. Chicago, you've had a pretty mild winter, I got to tell you. Could have been a lot worse for us, though we are seeing our snow levels in the Midwest, Jordan, several feet below average for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
And portions of New Hampshire and Vermont getting double digits, and we're talking over a foot in both of those states. And then we saw 6, 7, 8 inches here, anywhere from Pennsylvania to Ohio and, of course, Maine, where we were talking about. But look at the winds. This is our low pressure, but it's not just about the low. We also have a high, and you can see it kind of in that vicinity down there, and it's the pressure gradient between these two systems. So the closer they are together, the windier it is in between them. And you can see these white lines, and each line, this is a line of constant pressure, and the closer they are together, the more tightly packed, the breezier it is. And look at the numbers here. Albany gusting to 37, Scranton 35, Philly 33. This is going to make for turbulence in the Northeast. This will make for flight delays. And even if you're not flying out of the Northeast, if your plane is originating here and is slow to get out of the Northeast, then you could experience delays wherever you're located. The snow will continue to taper off through the day, but we stay breezy through the day, which I'll show you. And it finally gets better as we head into the evening hours. And by tomorrow, things really do clear out. Same with the snow. It kind of sticks around through the day. Power outages, they've gone up. And we could even see more power outages through the day because of the breezy, consistent breezy conditions that we are going to see hour after hour. We're talking over 30,000 customers now without power. And a lot of these wind advisories lasting until tonight, around 8 o'clock tonight. And notice, 8 o'clock in the morning, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. By noon, we are still gusting 40, 50 miles an hour for us. And as we go through the evening hours, dinner time, 5 o'clock, still the same. So it is going to be a cold day. It's going to be a raw day out there. At least some of you have the sunshine, which will help. Look, by Tuesday morning, finally, things are going to be a lot calmer. We just now have a ground delay at LaGuardia due to the wind. Not surprising. We could see more issues at more airports here in the Northeast through the day. 30s and 40s mainly for our temperatures right now, but you factor in the wind and it's going to feel like the teens and the 20s in a lot of locations. So you're going to need all the layers, cover up all that skin. I know you're sick of the winter. Don't worry, we have warmth coming right around the corner. And as we look for the day, it stays pretty chilly. I mean, obviously you get a little milder through the day, but overall those wind chills, which is all that really matters. I don't even care what the temperature says, because the wind chill is what you actually feel, and that's what we're going to feel all the way through the day. Look at Binghamton, New York. Yes, Molly, we do warm up from 13 to 30, and that's significant, but I think what's more significant is you'll get the sunshine, and that will help.
The significant warm-up is going to,
because you don't want all that corrosion from the salt water. You don't want water, obviously, with a car. They don't mix that well, but the corrosion does not help. Big upper-level system, this is going to be our next big player for the week. That system is out of here. The one that caused all the rain in Charleston is what's still left in the Northeast. This is our next weather maker that is going to be swinging east, and as it does so, it runs into moisture. It's going to run into warmth, and what does that combo mean? That means thunderstorms, and that means heavy rainfall for some of us. And in the South, we don't need it. We're anyway from 3, 6, 9 inches in Montgomery here, above average on rainfall. So we are waterlogged. Remember when we had the drought here? That is gone. We don't have to worry about it. Notice the European model having heavier showers anywhere from just south of Memphis all the way into Texas, including places like Houston. The GFS having heavy rain as well, concentrated a little bit farther north. And again, this is a Thursday through Saturday event for us here into the South, which could cause flooding as we head into our late week forecast, anywhere from Oklahoma to Texas, stretching all the way over into Mississippi and Tennessee. Now, this same area on Thursday could see some thunderstorms. Again, the setup is not there for a huge tornadic outbreak at the moment, but you could see some of these stronger downpours. You could get the lightning, you get gusty winds within some of these thunderstorms, and that's what we're anticipating. It really comes together for our Thursday. Notice how it takes time for our system to swing east. And it does take time for that moisture to get in and those warmer temperatures. So Thursday evening into Friday is when we have the biggest chance for storms. Everything moves east, lingers in the South, unfortunately, again, for our Saturday. I feel like there's been so many cloudy and wet weekends. At least half the weekend has been cloudy and wet for a lot of places in the South as of late. And the rivers, they are up. We have several in minor or major flood stage. And so now if you add any moisture to that, obviously, it's less than ideal. I don't think we're going to see rivers, going crazy out of their banks, Jordan, but it's certainly not going to help. Dallas, we stay stormy through the end of the week and the start of the weekend. And I know another place, Jordan, we could actually use this rain if we could send it west.
Yeah.
The week is starting off cold for big cities in the I-95 corridor, but don't fret. Sunny days and warmer temperatures are in the works. Highs only in the mid-50s for Washington, D.C. this afternoon. And that doesn't even account for the gusty winds. That will be about 40 to maybe 50 miles an hour. That'll make it feel like it's in the 30s and 40s at times. But look at this. In the nation's capital, the mid-70s soar back as we head into our Thursday. And the cherry blossoms, by the way, have reached the halfway point. They are expected to reach peak bloom between March 23rd and 26th for those that are trying to make plans to go see them. Welcome into America's Morning headquarters on this Monday, the 11th day of March. And Molly, it still feels like winter for a lot of people in the Northeast.
It does. It's a bruise
for everybody.
Me too.
Manifesting
Wouldn't
clear
that be
skies.
amazing?
Let's all put out that vibration so we can get it. All right, let's take you out the door in the Southeast. That diamond ring at our... Thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm standing in Kansas City near Union Station. We are in for a warm, sunny day today with temperatures into the 70s. We're talking 15, 20 degrees above average, but storms are brewing and they'll come knocking midweek, bringing heavy rain and also some gusty winds within these thunderstorms. But this is not the only spot that's going to see it. It's going to be stretching from the plains to the Midwest down into the South as well. Notice our 70s. They stay intact into our Thursday, though. We're a touch cooler, still above average for us, though. We're feeling that warmth as we are heading right into spring here next weekend. There's your low pressure. And the reason we're feeling the warmth is this right here is called a warm front. Okay, so that's the leading edge of warm air. And so anything south of that is warm air. And by the way, it does go up and over the front, giving us rain here into places like Iowa and also into Missouri. And there's colder air on the backside, meaning you're going to see a little bit of snow. But this is the warm sector. So if you live anywhere south of this warm front, you are definitely going to be feeling the heat. And the humidity, too, because that moisture rises northbound in that warm sector, too. So our dew point temperatures will be going up. You'll be able to feel it, and it'll also set the stage for the thunderstorms that are going to come. I think this is really cool that you can really see the cold front, and you can see that warm front also that is spreading east, too, and showing that warm sector very nicely on this temperature contour map. What's not so nice are the storms that are going to pop off tomorrow for our Tuesday with a little piece of energy coming through. And then really as we head into our Wednesday and Thursday is when the system starts to take shape, because there's a little energy that comes in ahead of this, and then we see our bigger one diving east, and that's what's really going to cause all the cloud cover, the rain, the heavy rain, the thunderstorms here from the plains to the Midwest down into the south, as I was mentioning, and it's going to be sweeping east for our Friday. Not a lot of rain, but it's a little bit, and it's kind of nice to get the, little rain coming down so that it doesn't all just run off, though I know, the ground is still pretty solid up here in some spots. But we need that moisture because we didn't get a lot of snow. We're still well below average on snow. So any moisture that we can get, Jordan, since it's been so warm, I'm hoping some of it can get into the ground.
Yeah, me too. Get